So the odometer back illumination on my mother-in-law's Opel Corsa Lite died. Yeah, so looking on the internet, I couldn't find much information on it. So after I figured it out, I decided to make this video. So you basically need to remove this console and then this cowling over here, and then you get access to the back, which is just held on by 2 screws, which you just bring forward, unplug and replace the bulbs. So this guy here is held on by 3 screws. There's one at the back here, which is a bit difficult to get to, but so this one looks different. The others are all the same. Yeah, they're all Phillips, and you just unscrew them. Just make sure that you keep tabs of what screws you took out where. So there's the other 2. Now this thing is a unit and it clips together. So the first thing is you can undo the clips at the back. Okay, so you can undo that, and on the other side. So if you turn this sideways, it reveals a cover which you can lift and take off with a long nose pliers, and this gives you access to a screw that holds the 2 halves together. So remove that. That's got a slightly different screw, a black one. Same on the other side. So if you remove the key now, yeah, you see the bottom cover just falls off. The top one is a little tricky to get out. And just keep rotating the steering wheel where necessary. And also move these levers down and retract. It's a little tricky, but you finally get there. Next we remove this guy. It's held on with 3 screws, one there, one in the middle, one on the other side. Now for this you actually need a short screwdriver, which I don't have, but I happen to have this old fashioned thing that was advertised on TV years ago, and it actually works pretty well to be able to access the screw. And again, they look different. They're slightly longer than the previous ones. Okay, so all 3 removed. Now this guy is loose. It actually has got a few clips, but it's quite easy. And I find that the easiest to organize this is to rotate it slightly to the left. Here we go. So that is out the way. So the dashboard is held in by 2 screws, which I again find my 90-degree tool works, but you can get through the steering wheel with a normal screwdriver. Again, different screws. These are much longer, so just remember where they were. Now the instrument panel is loose, but you first have to unplug it. Sorry for my neighbor making a noise doing some building. So at the back here you can see a connector, and this has a little clamp which helps to unplug it. So I'll show you a bit later on. So when you bring that up, it actually unplugs the connector. So the connector unplugs like that. You can see there's this clip that operates like that. When you operate it like that, it pushes the plug out, and then this thing can just come through the steering wheel. So here you can see the different plugs. So this is actually the one, the odometer, and so I actually took it out of there and my plug that I made up is much higher. So I'm going to use this one in here, and then that one doesn't have any obstructions, so I can use that over there. Right, putting it back together is just the reverse. What I recommend is you put a rag over there so that when you put this in, you don't scratch the surface. Make sure you have it the right way around. One can easily confuse it, and then you battle to get the plug in. If you can't get the plug in, then you know you've got this the wrong way around. So make sure the release mechanism is up, and then you plug it in. So when you put it back, just make sure that this lug is above it. Then bring it down and lean it forward until that hooks in, and then you'll see your screws are lined up. So those are the two long ones. Okay, this is probably a good time to check if everything works. And third, see if the panel lights work. Yes. And that's it. Okay, so now we carry on back to the cowling. So this guy again you bring in. It's a bit of a struggle to get it under there, and then over these guys here. Right, make sure it's there and it clips into position. And then these black screws. Again, your difficult one at the top, which works quite easy with this tool. So now for the console. This top half is the most difficult one. I find it's easier to actually pull these rubbers back first, then get this guy to go in. I'm so scared to break these levers, but I really haven't found an easy way of getting this guy in. I also find that turning the steering wheel at this point does help. Here we go. Okay, so now we fold the rubbers back and get them in there. Same on this side. Okay, now the bottom half. Remove the key. That's the easiest of them all. Clip two halves together on that side and the same on this side. Now for our hidden screw. Just go backwards until it clicks. And then in. This guy I find easiest. Grab it with a long nose, put it in position and push it in. There we go. And there's the three at the bottom. And then we're done. Two are easy. These two self-tappers, they are relatively easy. And this is quite a bugger. This last one. You really need to go and lie on your back to see what you're doing. So I couldn't find a replacement unit, but I could find a bulb, which is just a normal bulb. So what I'm going to try and do. So this is what the replacement bulb, this actually plugs into a holder. So I'm going to try and solder that into there. So for the life of me, I couldn't get the solder to stick to the lamp holder. I even tried old-fashioned solder flux, but that made no difference. Also, the wire on the lamp was difficult to solder, and I finally managed to get some to stick by scratching the surface. I ended up taking some copper wire, wrapping it around the lamp leads, and then wrap it around the contacts of the lamp holder. That was the only way I could make it work, and it actually seemed to work in the end.